The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Desde Brooklyn hasta el sol del Medio Oriente, Jose Flores con fuego en la mente. Raised in the Bronx where dreams don't sleep, donde el hambre te enseña a resistir. Section 8 life, no handouts, no cheat. He built his power from the pain on the street.
Cada golpe, cada lágrima caída fue el fuego que encendió su vida. Ahora camina con propósito y voz. Jose Flores, hear the noise. De la calle al combate, turn his trials into faith. Con disciplina y con fe, now he rises every day. From the black to the world sin temor.
You ever need a haircut?
So
that these kids can learn how to play instruments or want to, not just learn, but want to. But I think that there's a major shift.
Iraq to Korea, he led from the front. Now he lifts others, never just stunts. Hoy es mentor, líder, amigo.
¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome to the Motivated Mindset. I am your host, Jose Antonio Flores, proud Latino, born in New York City, straight out of the Bronx. Raised in Brooklyn, mi gente. Gracias por estando aquí. That New York City flavor, that hustle, that grit, it shaped me, it built me, and still drives todo lo que yo hago, everything I do. I'm a combat veteran who served 30 years in the United States Army. Hoopah! And right here, before we get rolling, I want to send a powerful salute to all my veterans, service members, and my first responders listening. Gracias. You have a much respect. You already know how I feel. Now, in this new chapter of my life, I wear many different hats, except for this cool one right here. Thank you very much. I'm a motivated speaker. I'm a certified personal trainer, a certified mediator, and yes, even an end-of-life death doula. But here's the truth behind all those titles. I do what I do because I'm called to serve. I understand what it is to struggle, because the struggle is real for a lot of us, right? I understand what it means to fight for a purpose and to help others find theirs. Every day, my mission es simple, mi gente. It's simple, right? To inspire, to uplift, to challenge, to be a reminder that no matter where you started, donde tú empezaste, you can redefine your life with heart, discipline, faith, and relentless drive. That's why this podcast exists. The Motivated Mindset is where we talk about resilience, we talk about culture, optimism, discipline, and the courage it takes to keep pushing, even when life swings hard at you, mi gente. So we try to keep it real here, New York City real. How you doing? You've been working out? Thanks for coming out. Straight talk, Bronx humor, zero sugarcoating, right? You're going to laugh, you're going to reflect, you're going to get fired up, and even maybe shed a tears, right? I mean, unless you're cutting onions, right? But one thing I promise, mi gente, one thing que te voy a decir lo que va a pasar. You're going to leave here a little stronger than when you press that play button, because this isn't just about motivation for many of us. It's about transformation, the things that happen to us in life, how it can change us, how it does change us. You understand what I'm saying? And one last thing before we get started. If you vibe with what you hear today, if this conversation inspires you, you know, this is what I ask, right? If you appreciate everybody we bring on here, the guests, interviews, the energy, yay, because that's what I bring. All I ask, support the channel. You see that QR code right there, you know, like, and you know what? Hit like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who could use a little motivation. You feeling me? Hoorah! Thank you very much, because your help supports keep bringing us powerful guests, meaningful conversations, and purpose-driven content straight para ti. All right, familia, let's get to it, right? Like we always do here on the Motivated Mindset. ¿Me entiende lo que digo? So today's guest, wow, today's guest is awesome. Today on the Motivated Mindset, we're bringing you a powerful story of transformation, resilience, something we always talk about here, and purpose. And I am honored to welcome Dr. Ruby Lathon. Dr. Ruby is a certified holistic nutritionist, cancer survivor, and a former award-winning engineer who completely re-engineered her life through a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Her journey from diagnosis to healing is nothing short of inspiring. and it's changing lives around el mundo, the world. She's been featured in powerful documentary like What the Health and They're Trying to Kill Us, where she shares her mission to helping others take control of their health and prevent disease naturally. Today, she's a highly sought after speaker, coach, and entrepreneur, leading initiatives like her vegan meal service and empowering people through nutrition, coaching, courses, and her cookbook, Stop Playing, Go Vegan. Dr. Ruby is on a mission to help you heal, grow, and live with intention. Get ready for a conversation that will challenge your mindset, elevate your awareness, and inspire you to take control of your health y tu vida, your life. So let's welcome Dr. Ruby to the show. And any questions you have, ladies and gentlemen, please post them on the comment, and we will be answering them. Thank you.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Thank you, Dr. Ruby. Thank you so much for being on the show, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to join you.
Wow. All right. Hey, this is going to be great. I can tell you. But before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from? You know, that would be stupendous, ma'am.
So originally from Detroit, but I grew up in Alabama for the most part, Bahamas and Alabama, and went to school in Alabama, moved to New Mexico, Albuquerque. So, and now I'm in DC. So I've been a few places. I loved all of them.
Wow, that is a lot of places. Oh my goodness. Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama's home for sure.
How was it growing up there? You know, like what exact moment you said, "Hey, well, let's just say, how was it growing in Alabama?" Because I know it's different sometimes for every place we come to. I know,
it is different. You know, as a kid, you don't really notice much, difference. You just kind of doing your thing. But I'd say Alabama's big on hospitality and niceties, and everybody's polite, So there's definitely that Southern hospitality in Alabama, for sure.
Beans. Oh, no, I'm digging that. And then coming to DC, I know that was like so different. It was
it's a lot different for sure. In Alabama, you don't pass by people and not speak.
Right.
Say, usually kind of have a smile on your face. Here, it's like, okay, you're not expected to speak to people. It's more of a surprise. So it's definitely a culture shift. People are, I mean, I love DC. I've been here for a while, but when you compare the two, in terms of just like your everyday interactions, it's a lot softer in Bama. So
yes. No, I thought growing up in New York was rough till I checked out places in DC. I said, okay, no, this is, New York was all right. But I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad now I live in Maryland. So I'm glad that you're here, and I really want to, jump into it. I know I read your bio. I've been following, and you're a cancer survivor. And can you walk us through that moment, and then from there we can just take it, ma'am?
Yeah, that was back in 2007 when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and was pretty surprised, and my first thought was, how can we deal with this naturally? Since the only option was to remove the thyroid and then be on medication forever, because you have to replace the thyroid hormone that it produces. So that is what gave me pause. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. Thyroid is working fine. There's just a little tumor on it. So let me look at the natural ways to deal with it. And I just started researching. A lot of information came up on diet and plant-based diets. And that's really the first line of defense when you're dealing with the illness like this is, what are we eating? What supplementation? So I really learned how to, what to eat to heal the body, and learned a lot about different supplements. So it started there. It was a journey though.
Yeah. I will tell you, my thyroid was removed. When just right after I got the military, and I wish I had makes you before then, but you go what the doctors tell you.
Right.
And now I'm taking what you call that?
Levothyroxine.
Yes. And every 6 months I have to get checked out. But
Right.
and it's something because it goes from I get cold, it just affects so much, that thing that looks like a butterfly or the size
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So
and I know a lot of people have had that surgery, and
Mhm.
you deal with it. You manage
Yeah.
the medication.
Mhm.
And that's, for me, I was like, that's just a non-starter. There's got to be a better way. Um, and so I gave myself this year to allow the healing to happen.
Mhm.
Um, Came up with a nutrition plan after I met with so many doctors and naturopaths and everyone I could think of. Came up with my own nutrition plan, and after about a year, I felt I was healed. This is the abbreviated version. I
Yes.
felt I had healed, and I had started meditating and visualizing my healing. And it was a year, and the tumor was still there, but I just knew things had changed because my thyroid had shrunk to the normal size because it was also enlarged. And I was like, we got to do another biopsy because I feel healed. And so we did another biopsy, and it came back that everything was benign. So
Wow.
gone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, initially was, when you first told I don't know what you call it, the regular doctor, what was their, how did they take it when you say, hey, I want to try alternative methods? How was that taken?
Yeah. So I was really working at this point with the endocrinologist, and
Yeah.
initially he was open, not, I wouldn't say open. He said, you got 3 months, do whatever you like, and come back in 3 months and we'll do the surgery. So I wouldn't really call that open. I call that
Right.
he was like, yeah, whatever. We can wait 3 months, was the idea, to do
Mm.
the surgery, because he was pretty convinced that nothing was going to work.
Right.
So that was that. And then when I came back in the 3 months and had the ultrasound again, and it was still there, and I still wasn't ready, that's when the discouragement came, and the just really negative attitude about what I was doing started. And then I decided to get a new doctor because it was so discouraging. I'd almost like leave in tears, and I was like, I'm not, the doctors work for me. I'm not paying to get discouraged because I'm doing what I want to do. So
Mm.
so that's so it wasn't, none of it was welcomed.
Right. When you first started, I know for me, was there a lot of information out there, or how did you even start with that for you?
There was a lot of information about cancer and diet, and that's why I, switched to the fully plant-based diet because of that. I tried a lot of things, initially, but that's the one that stuck. So yeah, there were books, there was, a lot of journal articles. So I was looking for, some scientific data on what heals cancer, how it works, that kind of thing. So that I did find some of that. And then
Mhm.
I found a lot of people's stories too. And just understanding the mechanism of how your body heals cancer really is through the immune system. And so everything you're intaking at that point is kind of helping or hurting. It just made sense that
Mhm.
a plant-based diet, and supplementation would help the process. Basically, kind of get out of the way of your immune system, doing some detoxing as
Mhm.
well. That was part of it. So yeah, I did find information that led
Mhm.
me to say this is the way to go. It makes the most sense. It
Mhm.
makes scientific sense. And then just, after having a moment to like breathe, I was like, it also makes more sense for the animals and the planet to eat fully plant-based, is
Right,
the
right,
most
right.
compassionate diet, and it has the least footprint in terms of
Mhm.
global climate change and global warming and all of that.
Mhm.
So, and it's the least impactful, so it just made sense all around.
No, absolutely, Dr. Ruby. I remember growing up, they had that pyramid, in high school, and they talked to us, and then you know, it's like you got to eat food, you got to eat this kind of meat, and
Right.
growing up, it was
We're indoctrinated into
yes.
thinking, believing that the best protein is animal protein, and that's the most important. And we're at the top of the food chain, and so we're
Mhm,
supposed to eat the animals and blah, blah, blah. When that's really not true. The science doesn't support that. The
mhm,
people who have the healthiest lifestyles and the least disease eat the most plants.
mhm.
Um, so it's at this point it's propaganda and just straight lies.
Mhm. Okay. No, absolutely. And and I know for this month we're talking about stress awareness, and
Mm-hmm.
how does food, I mean, if you can give us, how does food impact our mood and our mental, health like that?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of data that shows how mood food affects mood and how your mood affects what food you choose too.
Mhm.
So first we have what we call our second brain is in the gut. So the gut
Right.
really kind of dictates what we have those cravings for and what we're going to choose and how good we feel. And so there's a big feedback loop, the gut health brain axis. So when the gut is balanced, you kind of get cues to eat healthier food. When the gut is imbalanced, meaning there's more bad bacteria than good bacteria, so when the bad bacteria takes over, they start throwing a party basically and saying, "Give me more junk, give me more." Let's have more alcohol, let's have more fried food, let's have more sugar, 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 because that's what allows them to flourish and grow and pretty much take over. So now you feel this like really huge craving to eat sugar, fat, junk food because your gut is imbalanced, and it's like they're in charge now and they're saying, yeah, more, 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 so we can stay in charge. And
Yeah.
so then you're choosing those foods repeatedly, and then that causes inflammation in the gut, and that causes eating those kind of foods causes inflammation. It can cause, it's often associated with depression. You
Mhm.
have the highs and lows from the
Yes.
sugar, and then you crash, you start feeling bad, and then those kind of foods usually are not balanced with fiber
Mhm.
and enough water, so then there's constipation, and then there's a lot of things going on where you just don't feel good, and so
Mhm.
now there's a higher rate of depression and other things that lead, so that you're constantly trying to find something else to fix it. And so now
Mhm.
you're taking antacids and this, that, and the other, because you're causing this inflammation in your body. And so now you're feeling more depressed, you're feeling, muted, your brain fog is kicking in. So you just don't feel good based on that gut imbalance that is driving you to eat more unbalanced foods.
Mhm. And they don't help in social media, all the stuff that they throw out there.
All the stuff. I mean, I've done like some fasting or whatever, even
Mhm.
like water fast and juice fast, and I really just have to stay off of social media during that time because there's so many videos with just overconsumption of food and just
Yes.
cheesy this and deep fried that and just a ridiculous amount of food that people are like literally in some cases shoving, down their throats. And it's just,
Mhm.
I don't think that's happenstance. I think the algorithms are programmed to show us more of that, even though it's not, let's say it's not a direct ad for chips
Mhm.
or chicken. It's a subconscious eat more junk, eat more junk. And then, of course, you're going to just choose whatever is closest or more
Yeah.
accessible to you. But I don't feel like, I'm like, why is the algorithm promoting junk food like consistently for everybody
Mhm.
across the board, even when that's not something I'm interested in at all. So I think there is a concerted effort to degrade our health, unfortunately. And that's why we're so inundated with the negative messages. Even the USDA and is in on it and promoting milk and cheese and things that cause inflammation in the body. So we are kind of in a battle with
Mm.
with this information that's flowing to us.
Mm. I know before we met, I talked about growing up when we lived in the South Bronx, and all we ever saw was liquor stores and fast food, and that was the norm.
Right.
Uh, I didn't know any better until I left. I didn't even know what Whole Foods was until I became an adult after. But that's how we were, I don't know, almost like cattle. I don't know if there's,
Programmed. We're
yeah, program.
programmed.
That's a better word. Yeah.
That's why TV is called programming, because that is what is happening. They're programming us, and they've done it successfully since the fake food pyramid, that
Yeah.
this is what we need to eat. Because when you look at children, honestly, and they know the facts about where their chicken nugget comes from, when they realize like a chicken has to die, they're not really
Mhm.
excited about that. But we kind of push that out of them, the
Yeah.
sensibilities for compassion and life out of them until it becomes normal. But
Right. Right.
when, in the beginning, everybody's like, no, I don't want to kill my pet chicken. No, I
Right.
don't want
Right.
to
Right.
eat that. Let's eat something else. Let's eat the fruit. Let's eat the beans. Let's eat anything but my animal. But then we program it into them that this is how it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And then we look at the food system now, and it's so corrupt and gross in the way that they raise animals and confine animals and treat the animals, that there's no way you could get healthy meat out of this process that we have right
Mhm.
now.
Right. No, absolutely. Like for people who don't believe in out there, because I know we have a lot, can nutrition really help prevent or even reverse disease?
I think I'm a living testimony to
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
so how nutrition affects disease and health. So number one, I mentioned earlier, inflammation.
Hmm.
So most disease starts in the gut. And they say over 70% of disease starts in our gut. And so when you're eating food that is consistently inflaming the gut, um, that allows for disease to grow. So when you look at, you know, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, all of those are very high in antioxidants. And
Hmm.
antioxidants stop the breakdown of cells, and they slow that process of a cell's death. So, and we know things like, for example, cancer is basically the cells going rogue and forgetting their role and growing out of proportion very quickly and breaking down. So when we look at food, so we have a food source that is full of things that stop that process and repair it. That's your beans, nuts, seeds, fruits,
Hmm.
vegetables, especially the green vegetables and the onions and all those things. And then you have foods that cause free radicals, introduce
Hmm.
inflammation. That's going to be the deep fried food, the meats, especially the processed meats, the dairy, the cheese, the sugar. All of those break down the cells, introduce more free radicals, suppress the immune system. So if
Hmm.
you have foods over here that support the immune system and then foods over here that degrade the immune system, you can kind of see how food could cause disease depending on which type of food you
Right.
consistently choose. So
No.
that's the simplistic breakdown of
Yes.
how food causes disease, and then we can get into more details of how eating lots of high fatty foods
Hmm.
causes things like diabetes by plugging up those cells, and the insulin is not able to get in, and you have insulin resistance, and then you have once you have that, you usually then there's high blood pressure, and that degrades the kidney, and then now you have kidney failure. It's a chain. None of
Hmm.
these things usually show up alone. Once you get high blood pressure, you don't usually just that's it. Usually there's something else coming, and then it's a downward spiral. On
Hmm.
the other hand, when you start healing something, it's also the same. It doesn't usually just heal one thing, it starts healing a lot of things.
No, I can relate to the blood pressure medicine. I'm one of the things when I was in the military, they used to give us these MREs, meals ready to,
Ready to eat,
eat.
right?
We call them meals ready to excrete because it was I know.
It was bad. Okay.
It wasn't till I got out and I looked at the ingredients and it had so much sodium, words I couldn't even pronounce. It was
Yeah.
crazy the stuff they gave us. but we had no choice because we were deployed. We were in these places that's what they gave us, you know. And
Mhm.
it wasn't until I got out that I'm on 2 blood pressure medicines, and I didn't know
Right.
why. You know what you
And
just
that shouldn't be for someone who's as active as folks are in the military.
Mhm.
You know, that shouldn't be the case. But if you're
Yeah.
consistently feeding them high, overly salted food and not enough fresh, probably not getting a lot of fresh fruit and greens, then that's what you get.
No, absolutely, ma'am. And if someone's listening right now, you know, feeling stuck, because I know until I did the research, you know, what are some simple things they can start off now, you know? And I know we're gonna get into what you offer, but what's you know,
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
So I would say the first thing is because we always hear about protein, protein, protein.
Mhm.
Most of us are consuming too much. What we don't hear enough about is fiber, fiber,
Fiber.
fiber. And fiber is so important because it binds with toxins and free radicals. The free radicals are the things that break down the cells and lead to cancer. It binds with those toxins and takes them out of your system. So if
Mhm.
you're not eating enough fiber, you're not going to have that process of cleanup. And surprise, surprise, you only find fiber in plant foods, things that have grown from the ground. So there's no fiber in meat, there's no fiber in cheese, there's no fiber in any of the dairy products because that's not where they live. The fiber lives in the plants.
Mhm.
We need fiber to go to the bathroom regularly and to clean our system and all the things and to bind with those toxins and take it out. So the first thing you want to do is add more fiber. And I'm not talking about like Metamucil fiber or something like that. We're
Mhm.
talking about fiber that's in strawberries, that's in collard greens, that's in kale, that's in cantaloupe, that's in any fruit and vegetable you could
Right.
possibly eat. That fiber is going to help clean your system. So we are in a fiber deficit. Most people, and if you're not going to having a BM at least once a day at a minimum, then you're stocked up. So, and if you're not going often, then the body then reabsorbs those toxins that while it's sitting in the gut back into your system, which causes disease. So I would say the first thing to do is increase the fiber and the water. Water and fiber would
Mhm.
be before we take anything out, increase the water and about like half your body weight in ounces of water. So making sure you're drinking enough water until your urine is about clear or almost
Mhm.
clear. And then adding more fruits and vegetables to
Mhm.
your plate at every meal. So even if you're eating, you know, um, egg McMuffins for breakfast right now,
Mhm.
add an apple to that for starters. Add a kiwi, add a smoothie, a fruit smoothie with no dairy. Add things to your diet, and
Mhm.
then we let that start crowding out the junk. So that would be the first thing is to increase your water and increase your fiber through plant foods.
No, that's stupid. I was about to ask about the Metamucil thing because a lot of people always go to that, you know, the actual
Mhm.
using that. But no, those things with apple and fiber are stupendous. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to get into what is it that you offer, you know, like your
Sure,
company, how we can help people out, and so on. Let me see. There was a
absolutely.
question just came in. Oh, somebody said, let me see. Somebody said any proteins from someone on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah. So there's protein in every fruit and vegetable that you eat, just lesser amounts than you would find in meat. The higher sources of plant proteins are going to be in your beans, your nuts, and your seeds. So, if, for example, soybeans are very high, lentils are very high in protein. Quinoa, complete protein. Soybeans are a complete protein, meaning it has all the essential amino acids. So, and then other beans are close to complete proteins, but when you eat other normal food throughout the day, it combines to make a complete protein. So you really don't have to worry about, do I need to add this and this? If you're just
Mhm.
eating like normal food, you're going to get all those essential amino acids. So your beans, your nuts, your seeds are going to be the highest sources of protein. So you can start with those and build around that.
Mhm.
And it comes in so many different forms, whether it's tofu or tempeh, which is very natural forms of soy, or soy milk or quinoa. You know, there's so many recipes. You don't have to make it bland and boring. And that's why I have a cookbook, you know,
Yes.
to show you
Yes.
how to make it taste good. That's why I have all the videos free
Yeah.
online to show you how to make healthy food taste good. Because most folks rely on fat and salt to make
Mhm.
food taste good, and sugar. That's the trifecta: high fat, high salt, high sugar, and that's what makes everything taste good. So when you're eating out, that's what you're getting: a lot of
Mhm.
salt, fat, sugar. But there are other ways to sweeten things naturally, to introduce healthy fats, and to, you know, minimize the salt and still make food taste good. So yes, you can have full enough protein on a plant-based diet. Most people are over consuming protein, and we've been sold on that as well too. So for example, I had a holistic health summit this past weekend, and we had a 3-time Olympic weightlifter and a Hall of Fame weightlifter. He's won many, many things, and he's completely vegan and has been for years. So if he wasn't getting enough protein, I don't think he would be breaking weightlifting records
Right.
without, you know, because he's just eating plants, you know.
No, you're right. No, absolutely. Absolutely correct. And I think when we come back off break, you can work us through and show us because, you know, everything you have. Because I know I started subscribing to your newsletter, so it's been very informative. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ma'am. Hoorah.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. Oh.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
Hoorah! Welcome back. Welcome back to the Motivated Mindset with Jose Flores. And we have a question, actually more of a comment, and it says, good information on getting the proper nutrition. As a vegetarian, it is hard for me to get enough protein in my diet. Maybe she's asking for maybe other ways.
Okay, sure. Well, it takes a little bit of planning, but again, it's really about building around the higher protein sources. So, for example, an easy way to get in your protein at breakfast, for example, I like to do smoothies. I add like a cup of beans or so to my smoothie. You don't taste it like black beans or white beans. That gives a good 10 to, depending on how much you put in there, 10 to 15 grams of protein, especially if it's something like lentils. There's raw protein powder you can put in there. There's a tablespoon of peanut butter, another, you can get, 5 to plus grams of protein. So that's just at breakfast, pretty easy. And then with all the other fruit and things, you get another 2 or 3 grams. So you can easily get 20 grams of protein at breakfast. Even if you're doing something like oatmeal, you can add, hemp seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, all full of protein, also high in omega-3 fatty acids, kind of tying this back to mood and food. Mm-hmm. Those things help you feel better, the omega-3. So not getting enough omega-3s will lead to, not feeling well, depression, and things like that. So not only are they good for your brain, but they're also good in helping you get the protein. Walnuts, all of those are high in protein. And then if we're looking at, for example, I have a meal delivery service. One of our dishes is a walnut meat taco that we're doing. So full of omega-3s, full of good protein sources right there with the walnuts in it. There's sun-dried tomatoes and a lot of other good things in there too. It's really not that hard if you focus on the beans, the nuts, the seeds. I do a lasagna with lentils, really high in protein, and using like a tofu ricotta, also really high in protein. So it's not hard. It might just be reimagining what you're eating, and going from there. There are bean bars that have 9, 10 grams of protein. It's not hard, but if you're not used to it, you might have to dig a little deeper to add to that.
Okay. And those are good also for snacks. It's that in between the meals, like walnuts are good, I'm assuming, for good snacks, good healthy snacks, I'm assuming.
Yeah. That can definitely be a healthy snack along with like a pear or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. We have another question, and it says, are there any specific foods that reliably boost energy or emotional stability?
Yes, there are. So let's talk real quickly about serotonin, because your gut makes 90% of the 95% of the serotonin in your body. And serotonin really regulates your sleep, your appetite, but also your mood. It's like the feel-good hormone. And so when you're eating foods that are high in serotonin, you're going to feel happier. So that's going to be things like pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, lentils, bananas, leafy greens like spinach and kale and broccoli, brown rice, oats. All of those are high in serotonin. So, and it helps feed your gut so that it continues to make serotonin. And then so you're going to feel better. So another reason how food directly affects mood is if you're eating, a diet that's, not high in those things that I just mentioned, their serotonin levels are going to be lower and you're going to feel not as happy. So it's a direct connection of that. Again, what's going into the gut to feed it well, then it's a loop. If you're feeding it junk, you're generally going to feel worse. If you're feeding it well, you're going to feel better. But I would focus on those things that I just mentioned So if we're like doing a snack, your own trail mix with like pumpkin seeds and hemp seeds and maybe some raisins and a few walnuts, that would be a perfect mix to get those type of things in.
All right. We have another question, Dr. Ruby, and the question is, what's one myth about food and mood you wish people would stop believing?
Comfort food really isn't all that comforting. It is momentarily, but you're going to feel worse after. So we do have that, you're feeling bad, let's go have some ice cream and let's go have it's fine to eat some of those things here and there, but using it as a crutch generally is going to make you feel worse because you have usually, a crash after eating those high sugar, high fat things, especially if there's no real fiber included or protein in there.
Okay.
And
We got another one coming.
is that the other myth is that healthy food is nasty or doesn't taste good.
Yes.
Healthy food does taste good, especially when you know how to combine it in a way that does taste good. And when you respect the veggies, the way we marinate meats and do this, that, and the other, it's insane. But if you actually took a little bit of that effort and added that to seasoning our vegetables and how we're cooking it, it would taste just as good. So that myth, I think every time people have my food, I think I break that myth just a little bit more that healthy food isn't good and replace it with healthy food tastes good, especially when you know how to season it.
Yes, ma'am. Hoorah. So can we go to your website, ma'am, and you can how you what do you offer?
Absolutely.
All you, ma'am.
I have quite a bit of info on my website, from just information with the resources there. You can go, but folks can just learn more about me. And then I do coaching. So I develop nutrition plans for people to help alleviate illnesses and from anything from just going vegan to how to reverse diabetes. So I create customized plans for people to address those issues. I have an online community for people who want to learn how to cook better and make healthy food taste good, but not just that. We cover in-depth topics every Wednesday night at 7. We cover, last week we talked about why we need to dump dairy, but really the science behind that and how to replace it with plant alternatives. This week we're going to be cooking up some really good stuff. Folks can cook along with me on a regular basis. And there's a lot happening in the healing community, so folks can join me there and actually get some one-on-one time because I take questions, I take topics that you want me to cover specifically. So if you want to connect with me more, that is a great way to do it, and a lot of good people in the community. And then if you're looking for the one-on-one coaching, that's what the booking the appointment is. If you want to know a little more before, you can, get a quick discovery call and we talk about how I work with folks. And I work with people virtually. We meet online. Some, if you're in the DC area, meet in person. But most of the folks I've worked with people around the world over Zoom and things like that. So you can book your appointment there for sure and get that one-on-one coaching time.
Dr.
I also
Ruby,
have.
I just put in the 30-day free healing. If you can talk about that, I just put it in the comments. So
yes, absolutely.
Yes,
so yeah, you can join the community for 30 days for free with that link right there. And that allows you to kind of check it out, see what we're doing, attend the live calls on Wednesday night. We also have a huge library of all the lives that I do are recorded along with the recipes. So if you miss, like you can't do Wednesday night, the next day it's uploaded, you can watch it, and if there's a recipe attached, you have that there. So you really don't miss anything, but it is a great way to connect with other folks who are also trying to at least living that healthy lifestyle too. We're all in this together, growing and learning from each other. So if sometimes you need to change your environment, especially if you feel like you're alone with eating healthy. It's great to join a community like this where you have other reinforcements and you don't feel so alone. So you have nothing to lose with joining the community, but everything to gain. A lot of information. And in the community, I have courses as well, like a cancer recovery course that I added to the community. And it's a video course where I walk you through that. It also has a how to get out of the life you created. If you're not happy with where you are, how do we move from one place to another? Because people often ask me, how did I get out of engineering? Because that's what I was doing before. My degrees are in engineering and I worked in defense, and now I do holistic nutrition. How did I make that transition? That's in the How to Get Out of the Life You Created course. And so all that is free in the community. So I highly encourage people to check that out and sign up.
All right. Let's see. What's the next slide, ma'am? And I think the newsletters cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the newsletter is another great source of information that's free. You sign up every Saturday. We're sending you, reminders and information and blogs to help keep you on track. So I would, and also what's coming up, what health summits I'm doing across the country and things like that. So I would definitely sign up for that. And then I have a meetup community in the DC area. You can sign up for that as well. And then I speak across the country. I was, like I said, I had the health summit here in DC, and then I was in Huntsville doing another talk and juicing and things like that. So, yeah. So if you want me to come and speak to your church, your job, your work, I do lunch and learns and all of that. So I stay busy.
And Dr. Ruby, that email on the bottom, is that a good way for them to reach you, ma'am?
Yeah. If you have more questions, once you go onto the website, you can definitely send an email to info@rubylathon.com.
Oh, wow. All right. And we have that too, ma'am.
Yes, there's a lot there. So I have my book, as you can see right there. Stop Playing, Go Vegan. It's got over 100 recipes, but it's really designed, it's about getting serious with healthy vegan recipes to prevent and reverse disease. So that's really what it's about. So if you're not getting enough protein, there is a chapter on here on protein. I had to put it in here. Protein, the plant-based way. All right. We have an entire chapter on high protein dishes. So if you're not sure where to get your protein, get the book so you can stop playing and go vegan. And we have t-shirts with that name on it. They've been selling out. I think we only have like extra large and small. The small can kind of be medium if you're on the slender side. So we have those. And then, some people give my services or something, a book as a gift. You can give gift certificates and things like that. And then if you want to know more about the coaching nutrition plans, there's that button there to link to that. So all that is there. And then, as I mentioned, we've got some, resources too that you can check out as well on there. So there's a lot. So go to the website, rubylathon.com, and check that out. And for those who are listening via radio, it's rubylathon.com. And just put me in Google. You'll find me very easily. I've been online for a while, and my YouTube channel's out there, and a lot of different things. Yeah. So you'll find me on LinkedIn and Pinterest and everywhere.
Yeah.
So you definitely do not have a hard time connecting with me.
Yeah. And that first QR code, ladies and gentlemen, is to her website. So, please use your phone, scan it. And of course, this will be available after we're done. So you will have plenty of time to connect. And like Dr.
And all
Ruby
those
said,
links are on my website as well. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got plenty. And we also have Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah.
It is. I love it.
Yeah, all the ways. So there's no excuse.
Right. Absolutely. Now I am, and also let me see the TikTok. Let me put that one off. We also have.
I'm on TikTok as well. So you can catch me there. So
there it goes.
Social media, pretty much you can find me there.
Yeah. So we got plenty. And Dr. Ruby, you've covered so much. Is there anything you want to just leave with our audience when it comes to what you do daily?
So the reason I keep doing what I do is because I get so many people come back years later and tell me how I've helped them, how videos helped them, how my coaching has helped literally save people's lives. And I want people to know that the power really is in your plate and in your mindset. So, we talked about mood and food, but it goes so much further, because when you have a clear mind, you can make healthier decisions. And when you're making those healthier decisions, you make healthier life decisions. When you feel better, you do bigger and better things. So the foundation really does start with the plate. And if you need help with that, or if you need help with whatever it is you're dealing with, I have a treasure trove of things that you can check out in addition to working with me. But know that the power is in your hands, and that even everyone who is, plant-based, like myself, thought it was too much, too hard, not able to be done, until they do it and they're like, oh, this is not that bad. So I would say, try it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Oh, one more. It did come back for a moment. I lost. Remember the video that you're in, the movie? Can I show
right.
that? Man?
Yeah. So if you're on Netflix, check me out in the movie What the Health. It will inspire you to no end. And then the other movie, the later movie I was in, is They're Trying to Kill Us. Kind of gives you the background on why we have the food systems that we have, and why a lot of us are, a little brainwashed into thinking that you have to eat meat to live and to have protein, when you really don't. So I would say check that out. They're Trying to Kill Us. Just type that in. It's in it's free on a lot of platforms as well. So I would say that. I see a question about where you can get my book. You can get it on my website, rubylathon.com. That's the best place. It's also on Amazon. So
cool. Let me play that little snippet. It came back. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Neighborhood, but yet there's tons of fast food places in this same community and liquor stores that are thriving. So the money is there. It's just the choice of you're not wanting to serve this community. Why? It's not because of money. It must be something else.
All right. And
very provocative, thought-provoking movie. A lot of great people in that. I highly recommend, especially if you're needing some inspiration and education, because a lot of times people are not making that leap because they haven't bought in, and they haven't bought in because maybe not fully educated. So I would say check those two movies out and you'll be on the right path.
And where can they see them again, Dr. Ruby? Where can they find that movie? Or the
so that movie is, I think, on YouTube and Tubi, that one for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
If you just type in They're Trying to Kill Us, it'll show you where you can find those. But I know it's on those two. And then What the Health is on Netflix and I think YouTube as well.
And let me see. I think someone texted me a quick question, and somebody says, for high cholesterol and kidney stones, what can they do? That was a question.
Okay, so so getting too many oxalates for the kidney stones, you want to stay away from the shellfish and acidic foods. That's what kind of causes that. High cholesterol, usually within 30 to 45 days on a fully plant-based diet, that you can reverse that high cholesterol.
Wow.
We also want to check to make sure you're getting your vitamin D, because vitamin D is linked, low vitamin D is linked to higher cholesterol. So you want to make sure you're getting a good whole food, non-synthetic multivitamin, but you need to be taking vitamin D and you need to be taking B12 at a minimum for supplements. And then, switch to that plant-based diet, because there's no cholesterol in a plant-based diet. It's all from the meat and the dairy. So when you take those out, make sure you're eating a really well-balanced, high-fiber diet. Your cholesterol is going to come down pretty quickly. And then with the stones, was it kidney stones or
kidney stones? Yes, ma'am.
Kidney stones, yeah. So you want to be careful not to eat a lot of cooked spinach with kidney stones, but everything else, a plant-based diet is going to help with that. We'll probably do something really targeted for the kidney stones. Apple cider vinegar helps, but you can definitely start the breakdown of those two. That takes a little more targeting than just a general answer, but switching to the plant-based diet will definitely help with that too.
Cool beans. Well, Dr. Ruby, thank you for all the information. I'm a subscriber, so I know I got to make some changes. I want to just say thank you. I'm excited about it. I got to get ready for
absolutely. Yeah, that's why we have communities to keep people going, because a lot of times you have the information, but then you need that community that inspires you to get back on the wagon, and that's why I have all the resources that I do.
Yeah, thank you so much for providing us with all that information. It's a lifesaver for some of us. Thank you so much. And if you have anything coming up, please let us know so we can post it.
Absolutely, will do.
And just ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everything, for your questions and for the support. And just have a great weekend and just enjoy the rest of your day, or your evening, depending where you're at. Thank you, everybody. Wow.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25 and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.